Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Even though those of us in South Florida are getting ready for a Category 5 hurricane, I guess it can't be that bad. After almost 13 years of not having a hurricane, got to water the grass somehow. Anyway, thank you and welcome for taking time out of your busy schedule today to join us. Had a few items on our agenda, which was emailed to you, and a lot of changes are going on within the government right now. Let me get a couple things out of the way first. If you have any questions at all at any time, please type them in your box. I have a question for you right now. Can everybody hear me okay? Just type yes in your question or chat box, please, so I know that we're coming through loud and clear, even though it is nice and sunny. And until Friday, they say, and who knows the way Florida's weather is. This thing could hang a right and head up to Alaska or the Arctic, Antarctic. Who knows where it's going? It doesn't know where it's going. Thank you, folks, for responding there. My name is Mike Price, and those of you that have been with us before, actually we're missing one gentleman. I'm wondering if he's on vacation. He's attended our last 8 or 9 webinars, never misses one, and always has some great questions. So let's move on. Today's sponsor is something we started this year after many, many requests from last year, is All Power Solutions out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And one of our clients, and he's become a monster in government contracting. In fact, those of you that have watched some of our webcasts on YouTube, it'll be the town hall meeting with an actual client. And Earl was working for another company at the time. He's now working for one of his relatives, and they're having fun. So there's the commercial aspect of our today's broadcast. The agenda. And I'm going to throw acronyms at you because you need to learn them if you're playing in the government. Every one of you that's on this webinar today is registered in SAM. And we work very closely with the folks over there to make sure that we always get the updates so that we can do these reach out sessions. And we get a lot of people that complain and they say, well, we're on SAM, why are you emailing us? How much government business are you getting by just sitting on SAM? We'll get to that in the next slide. FedBiz Ops. A lot of people don't know what it is. We're going to find out today. FEMA, which coincidentally we may have to use here starting Saturday. So we'll see where that goes. Pricing analysis. We did a webinar on this last year, and I want to get into that a little bit deeper today. The current status of GSA, their future plans, teaming, which is not the same as subcontracting, and we're going to talk a little bit about credit cards. What is SAM? Those of you who have been around the block for a while, the old ORCA, and I didn't have enough room on that line to type it, Online Reps and Certs Application. They combined that with one of the other aspects and call it System for Award Management, SAM. It is absolutely free to register and update. The next line is very, very important because you're going to see it again at FEMA. There are tons of scams out there that say, well, we'll do your SAM update, not your registration, your update for $500. No, it's free. Anybody ever has a problem updating their SAM, call me. I didn't put contact information on the last slide because I got tied up doing, what do they call it, hurricane preparedness, but we got 2 days of sun left. So it's very important that you keep it up to date because when you're dealing with any government contract, whether it's the SOUP contract or networks contract or GSA or DLA, When you start doing business with them, you have to have at least 6 months before its renewal. Make sure you constantly keep it renewed, updated, and make sure that your NAICS codes, which are the old SIC codes for those of you who've been around for more than 2 years, are the same as the NAICS. They just added 2 more numbers to it. But anyway, the NAICS codes that you're looking at for any particular government contract must match your SAM profile. These are nitpick items that most people don't realize until they get into heat of battle, and then the buyer or contracting officer says, but you're trying to do something here that you don't have in your SAM profile. So keep it up to date. FedBizOps, Federal Business Opportunities, FedBizOps. Current and past solicitations, requests for proposal, pick an acronym, it doesn't matter. Absolutely free and registered to use. There was a scam company a couple years ago that was charging you to send these items to you. All they did was go to FBO. When it came to them, they said, oh, that goes over here to Susie Cream Cheese over in wherever, and they send it to you, and you think you're paying them $300 a month. Give me $300 a month and I'll send them to you. No, that was the scam. You can get on auto notification. Automatically get notified of any action on any particular solicitation, RFP, whatever, they're all the same, that you're interested in. Make sure your NAICS that's in your SAM that we updated on the last slide are also what you're looking at on the contract that you're going after, or bid, or pick a word. Well, guess what? You're going to win, you're going to lose. You're probably going to lose more than you're going to win, but that's life. But remember one thing, you now have all the buyer information. You need to get to know the buyer. FEMA, now part of Homeland Security. If any of you saw the recent news blast, the Fed stepped in, nailed a guy over on the west coast of Florida for $6-point-something million of scamming folks out of, we'll only charge you $500 to renew your FEMA. FEMA is a one-page document. You can download it right off their site, FEMA.gov. Fill it out. Actually, fill it out. It's a PDF. Fill it out. You can actually probably do it online now. I think they have a submit button. Avoid the scams. 99% of what I'm going to tell you today is free, as long as you go through the process and make sure that you got all your bases covered. The nice part's being able to get the auto notifications every single day, sometimes twice a day. Just click and subscribe. FBO.gov. Pricing analysis. This is something new that we spent many, many thousands of dollars to buy into this tool. And for the record, see, if any of you have applied for a GSA contract over the last year, that's exactly what they did when they did your pricing analysis and said, well, on the first 50 items you gave us, you're too high. How do they know? The pricing analysis tool takes your product list, not services, just products, goes out, measures it against GSA Advantage, EMAL, believe it or not, Amazon, even depending upon what the product is, if it's not, if computers or whatever, it'll check it against eBay, it'll check it against Amazon, Best Buy, you get the idea. Government is looking for the best price on all the products, which is totally contradictory to the way GSA contracts were originally set up. Originally, GSA was established as best value. Case in point, I can go buy a 55-inch TV at Best Buy for $800. Then I'm going to pay 6% sales tax, but I can bring it home right now. It's 2 miles away from my house. Or I can go to Amazon, pay $800, and have it within 2 days shipped free. Who gives me better value? Okay, Amazon's $20 higher, but it's still less than paying the tax. That's what's called best value. That's all going away. What they've done is they've taken the tool, which used to be on the front end, they've now put it on the back end, which is now what many of you have read about, is called TDR, Transaction Data Reporting. It's logging every single sales transaction and averaging out the pricing to see who's high, who's low, whatever. So it's going to be automated. It's going to be very, very nice, and it'll be wonderful. What this also does, and GSA has a policy, we're going to talk about GSA in a second, what's called a 50-10 policy. And don't ask me where they came up with the numbers. I know that I filed a number of complaints after using the price analysis tool, and I know there's people there right now that are shaking their head going, yep, I know what he's talking about. I would submit a price on behalf of a client that was, my cost was higher than the lowest price listed on GSA. How can that happen? Oh, and the client is a distributor, so he gets the lowest pricing from the manufacturer, period. The reason is, as we found out, that the pricing that this vendor had on contract was 8 years old, but he never sold it, so he didn't have to worry about, oh, well, the price is wrong. What they do is they do the bait and switch and on and on and on. Anyway, that's pretty much how pricing analysis works. We run some analysis against the analysis, which lets you know where you are. You'll see lowest sales price, median, not middle, median sales price, and highest sales price, and then low, median, high list price, which obviously a lot of times the sale price is higher than the list price, which doesn't make sense, hence the bogus pricing. We look at your price and say, okay, where are you in that range? But then on the right, there's the five lowest price, or five pricing, 2 of the lowest, 1 in the middle, and 2 of the highest that are on a contract, and compare that against that. So roughly within a couple of hours, you know exactly where you stand price-wise on your products. So if you're getting ready to do a big bid, shaving 2 or 3 pennies off of a price might get you the award. Good information to have. GSA Status. If you've been reading the news, or heard the news, we have a new GSA administrator, and that remains to be seen where that's going. I don't know. I did meet the last one, very nice lady, and unfortunately didn't get a lot done. They're undergoing so many changes. The scrutiny in GSA right now, and remember, GSA is the one that provides authorization for expenditures for every contract that's bid. So it's Delegation of Procurement Authority is what it's called. They're moving rapidly more towards electronic, hence our conversation with the pricing analysis. They've got that just about completely automated. I did some testing on it and compared it to my manual version, if you will, and it pretty much right on the number. Is this good that this is happening in the government? Not just GSA, the government, all the contracts. Everybody is going to automated analysis. We've got the technology. They're finally implementing it. The only thing that's still 15 years behind on everything is when I do a GSA contract submission, the code that's running an e-offer is 16 years old. And I've been working with the guys at the program office, and I can't believe how slow they work in a fast society. So that's neither here nor there. Where's the future going? The good news is, and I'm assuming that of the 100 and some people that are here right now, that very high percentage of you are small business. As a service-disabled veteran-owned business, having been consulting with GSA Contracts for, it was 31 years last month. Time flies. I can remember the first day. It's about time that small business started getting the recognition that they deserve. And I'm seeing a question here. Is the pricing analysis tool GSA available for use by nonprofit agencies? It could be helpful. No. Unfortunately, the tool they're using, and I know what they spent for it, and it's, well, let's just put it this way, it's approaching 7 figures. They do not open that up to use anybody, because what it's doing is it's using the 70 million plus product line coming out of GSA Advantage, which is almost 100% of the time the same type of product that you're putting out to bid. So unfortunately, it's not I tried this when I first tried to get into this game, and they said no. Got to get your own. So I went and got my own. I've got another question here I'm trying to find real quick. Got that one. Yes, thank you. No, we're up to date. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't generally try to mention names unless it's just the first name there. That's fine. Get a hold of me afterwards, and I'll see if maybe we can help you out as a nonprofit. The other thing we talked about during the pricing analysis was cleaning up the data. There's so much bogus pricing on there. There's stuff that's not even made anymore. And the 50-10 policy that we discussed actually tells, and I don't know how they come up with 50-10, they tell us that, or all the vendors, and this came out because of Chuck Schumer in New York. All of a sudden one day woke up and said, I'm gonna mess around with GSA Advantage today. And a letter went out to every vendor, or email went out to every vendor, some of you may have gotten them, that said, you haven't updated your pricing on GSA Advantage for a year, 18 months, I don't remember what it was, it happened so long ago. You've got 30 days to do an update, otherwise we are scraping all your products off of Advantage. Fantastic. We're getting rid of bogus pricing. Now we're definitely going to be the lowest with that contract. Never happened. Again, as usual, they rattled the sword, didn't do anything. So we're still trying to get the data cleaned up. But how does this affect you? Hopefully it becomes more competitive. If you're bidding something at $100 and your cost is 90 and you're only making 10%, and some guy's bidding 50, how does he get to bid it? What's he paying? Where did he steal it? That's my question. Where did he steal those products? There's no way. If you are in the right pricing strategy with your manufacturer or supplier, everybody should have the exact same price to go out and bid. It's a question now of profit, which brings us to the realistic pricing. That's what we're looking for eventually, is to level the playing field so that the small business can at least survive, if not prosper. Teaming partners. Do not confuse this with subcontracting. Those of you that have listened to me before, why do I hate subcontracting? A lot of times when and we'll talk about subcontract before we talk about teaming. A lot of times when you go in to bid on something, whether it's a bid, an application, RFP, RFQ, all of them mean bid. When you go in to bid, a lot of times they're looking for the lowest price you've charged anybody? Well, I'm going to talk about myth and reality right now. The myth is, it doesn't matter what I charged anybody else, but I'm going to charge GSA what I want, or the government whatever I want. The reality is, if you work as a subcontractor, I use services, it's really easy to understand. I got a $100 an hour programmer. I'm on Scooby-Doo Jones's contract, and he's charging the government $100, but I'm working for him for $85. Well, he's paying me $85, and he's getting paid $100. He's making 15%, roughly $15 an hour off of me. I'm doing the work. He's not doing anything. It's his contract. Then I decide I'm going to go out and bid on the contract, and the government says, what's the lowest price you've charged anybody for that $100 rate? We all know that answer. $85. That's your new rate for the government. But nobody told me that. Well, some guy in Florida did. Do not subcontract. If you do subcontract, don't subcontract, but if you do subcontract, keep your rates high. Keep your rate as high as you would want to give the government, either on a bid or GSA on a contract or DLA, whatever. Do not destroy your street price. Agencies like it when you both have a contract. You've got a contract, I've got a contract. We're both working here. And we see an opportunity. We have a teaming agreement. Teaming agreement, teaming arrangement, the A means both. On our website, we have it both ways. It's actually technically a contractor teaming arrangement, but between the companies, that's called an agreement. So imagine the inconsistency there. Anyway, once you and I have a CTA, that takes the guesswork out of what the A means. Once we have a CTA and we go into an agency, we go into Fort Bragg, North Carolina. They're looking for building supplies, which you supply, and installation services, which I supply. Together or independently, we can't do it. Together, you sell them the product, I install it. Agencies love this. They bring in one team, say, hey, get the place cleaned. It's done. But all team members must be on a contract. If one team member is not on a contract, it's called subcontracting. If both teaming partners have a contract, it's called a CTA. And it also means a cost savings to the government. And what I didn't tell you here is it also sets you up perfectly for a blanket purchase agreement or a BPA. You can read about BPAs on our site. And before I forget, the slides will be available. I normally put a QR code at the end. I really didn't have time this time. And when we're finished, I'll send out the email with all the link for all the slides. That way you've got them. I try to make them brief, more bullet points than a ton of information. You'll be able to see them in a PDF. Everybody here today takes credit cards, correct? I know you're hesitant to type. Don't do it, because I know exactly that 70% of you do not accept credit cards. It's a requirement to do business with the government at the micro purchase threshold. I got a call from a guy the other day. He says, well, I've been registered on SAM for 14 years. I haven't got one piece of business. What are you doing to get business, sir? Well, I keep my registration up to date. Yeah. How's that working out for you? Well, I haven't gotten any business. I don't even get a phone call. Do you have a fishing license? Yeah. And when you got your fishing license, did the fish just jump in the boat? No, I had to drop a hook. Same answer. Go find it. Go back to the beginning to FBO if you want the easiest way. And by the way, every agency publishes their buyers list. Unfortunately, it takes forever. Well, Carrie, I just saw the last part of your question, but I think what you're asking is, what is the web address for us? MarketUS.com. Yeah. And I should have, normally that's up there, but again, I tried to get this a clean set of slides to get you in, get you out, because we always go over an hour. We're at 25 minutes now, and I'd like to have you out of here in the next 15 minutes so we can spend some time, answer some questions, or let you go on about your business and your day. Those of you on the West Coast, it's only 10:30 in the morning. And the guy in Alaska, you're probably just having coffee and breakfast about now. So don't want to keep you all day. 70% of you do not take credit cards. You must accept credit cards. I did a webinar 2 years ago, and a credit card vendor was on, called me afterwards, and he gave me an education on how bad of a scam the credit card industry is. And I'm going to say their names: Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all the big, Citibank, pick one, it doesn't matter. Well, we get 1.65%. Okay. Government comes to you with a credit card purchase. First of all, it's card not present because you're not physically swiping the card. That's another 1 to 1.5 point add-on to the 1.65. Oh, and then it's a government purchase card, so it's another point on top of that. Let me say 1.65 plus 1.5, 3.1 plus 1, 4.1%. 4.1% of your skinny profit. You may only have 10% profit in it. You're losing 4% of it. But wait, there's more. Guess who gets half of that 4.1%? The government. By allowing the credit card companies to process the credit cards for the government gives back half of whatever discount fee you have to pay as a merchant. So this guy calls me. It's on our website, MarketUS.com, about 2/3 of the way down in the center. And he said, well, we offer 2.1, no surcharge, no contract, no card not present, no government purchase card, no contract, no statement fee, no. 2.1 flat. I had one of my guys, the next webinar, I put his logo up on the site. Guy clicks it, gets approved. His first order, I just finished his GSA contract for him. His first order, $750,000 order, paid by credit card. I'm sorry, I'm going to round it off. He paid $14,000 in discount fees. Now, if we were talking about the 4% rather than the 2%, that would have been close to $30,000 in discount fees on a $750,000 purchase. That's not fair. Folks, get credit cards if you don't take them. If you're paying card not present, which everybody does if you do what's called MOTO, mail order, telephone order, and I got to add the IO, internet order, unless they're entering the card manually themselves or swiping it, you're going to pay card not present. And if it's a government purchase card, which is coded on the first 6 characters of the card, no matter what the first one is, it's another 1%. Could be 1.5. Depends upon what the banks can get away with. End it. Now, here's a trivia question. We all probably have credit cards and or debit cards. Does anybody know what the first digit signifies? If it's a 3, does anybody know what that is? I'll give you a hint. American Express. 4 would be Visa. 5 would be MasterCard. Here's one you're not going to get. What's the first digit is 6. Hardly anybody uses it. Elena, you're showing off. How the heck did you know that? You must have one. Yeah, I'm laughing out loud too, and so is everybody else. And she does. Discover. In fact, I believe is it Home Depot or Lowe's or one of them, some of these stores that offer a credit card, it begins with a 6. Private label. Excellent job, Elena. The buyer's list, Elena, contact me afterwards and I'll direct you a couple places. I don't know right off the top of my head, and I really wasn't planning an interactive. Let's go hunt the web type, because trying to get you out of here in less than an hour. So, got it. Any questions on credit cards? And one webinar, in fact, it's on the, if you go to YouTube, it's one of our videos. I can't remember which one it was. And I actually found a picture of the very first original credit card, which was created in 1959 by, guess who? IBM. It was a piece of cardboard. It wasn't even square like a business card. About the size of a credit card, which is a little bit bigger than a business card. It had a piece of magnetic tape taped to the card. No writing on the card at all. It was just something that you swipe through the tape reader. I have no idea what was on it, but that was your credit card. 1959. Unbelievable. What's your next steps, everybody? What are we going to do here? These are the things you must do. This is just like getting up in the morning and making coffee. Or some of you, Diet Coke, whatever it is. Make sure your SAM is up to date. And you can update it every single month if you like. It doesn't matter. And by the way, when I went back to the credit cards, when I talked about the 70%, I did the calculation on the September 1st SAM database of 678,000 plus registrants like yourselves. And I said, how many do, how many don't? Right around 70% do not take credit cards. So get your SAM record updated. Make sure you have the NAICS codes, North American Industrial Classification System, for those of you that are not acronym savvy. It's the original SIC, standard industry classification code, which was only 4 digits. So I guess the industry expanded, so they went to NAICS to make it 6 digits. I think some of them are even 7. I don't remember. We have the database somewhere. Make sure that your SAM contains the appropriate NAICS codes for whatever government project you're going after. Don't care what kind of contract it is. That's the first thing they check. In fact, if you look at a GSA solicitation and you go into professional IT services, it'll show you the list of the NAICS codes that are applicable to that particular portion of the IT contract. If you don't have them, you better get them. Monitor and subscribe to the FedBizOps. It's free. You can always say, don't send me any more emails, but the key is, if you're looking at the buying opportunities, whether you bid on them or not bid on them, whether you win them or don't win, especially if you don't win them, capture that information. Every single one of them has full contact information for the buyer that put that solicitation out. And we already know that solicitation means bid, RFQ, RFB, blah, 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 okay? Solicitation. It's there. It's free. It's yours. You paid for it in your taxes. Capture that information. Make sure they know who you are. That's a nice way of saying make nice. They need to know who you are, and especially if they're near you. For example, I'm in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I've got West Palm Beach VA Hospital, Miami VA Hospital, Pembroke Pines VA Hospital, Broward Clinic. These are all just the VA stuff. Then I've got Homeland Security, Coast Guard, Station, Air Base, then the airports. They need to know who I am if I want to sell them stuff. That's the key. Make sure they know who you are. And I know I'm preaching and telling you stuff you should already know, but thanks for attending. I'll take any questions you got. Where do you find the analysis tool for pricing you discussed? You don't, because it is, we paid to have it developed over and above because we had to stay away from what GSA had. So it was a little different. But if you contact me afterwards, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. To get it developed, was approaching $100,000 for the license just to be able to get the analytics that we had to put together ourselves. Rebecca, absolutely yes. Another thing I forgot to tell everybody, as soon as we're done here, the recording converts. We do our little editing, and then we'll be publishing it on, and actually right now there's no videos on our current website because we have a test website that's up, and that's where the videos are. But every video that's going to be on the website you will find on our YouTube channel. Just look for MarketUS. All right, back to the, let's see where we are here. The question is, back to the lowest price that I charge a customer. Let me get back here. There. If I give a customer a one-time discount, would the government then go back and hold me to that? Who asked that? That was Chris. Chris, do you have a contract? If you have a contract, you don't have to type yes or no. If you have a contract, let's take GSA for an example. If you have a GSA contract and you have a $100 price, and now that we're coming into the final month of the fiscal year, and first of all, once you exceed, or the potential order exceeds the maximum order threshold for IT products, it's $500,000. The government is encouraged to seek additional price concessions. Guess what? When it exceeds $1, they're asking for better pricing. You're allowed to do that. It's called spot price reduction, and no, it does not hold you accountable for anything, because it's a spot reduction if you have a contract. I'm hoping that's what you were asking, if I have a contract. If you don't have a contract, it doesn't matter because you're wide open on it. What were the terms and conditions of the one-time price consideration if you didn't have a contract? Why did you break your standard commercial practice? That's what they'll ask. Do I have a webinar with step-to-step instructions on how to submit a bid? Well, could I do one? Yes. Now, a bid for which contract, or just a generic bid? There's a young lady named Eileen Kent who if you go on to YouTube and look at our 5 steps to successful whatever, I can't remember right now because I'm not looking at it. Get a hold of Eileen. Eileen teaches a proposal class. She'll teach you how to go step by step by step. First of all, make a bid, no bid decision. Secondly, if you decide you want to bid, she'll teach you how to put the proposal together, not necessarily win it. So hopefully, Heather, that helps you out. You can go to YouTube and just search for MarketUS, and you'll find our channel. And Rebecca, where do I get more detailed information on the teaming agreements? you can get a little bit of information, Rebecca, just on our site under frequent, under I think it's under questions. And that's a whole section, and I will tell you right now, most of the answers there, no, not most, all of them are vetted because I got them from GSA. Why do I want to try to answer something they've already answered? So you can get them off gsa.gov. You can find them a lot quicker just by going through the menu and pick up CTA. Hopefully that helps you. Robert, let's see what you got. Is being registered with DMB required to register for SAM? Yes, because the first thing that SAM looks at, Robert, is your DMB number, your DUNS number, it's called. So yes, you have to have a DUNS number. And in order to register SAM, you have to have a CAGE code. CAGE, Commercial and Government Entity Code, CAGE code, 6 digits. Wait a minute, is it 5? I don't remember. Somebody help me. Is CAGE 5 or 6? Anyone? Maybe it's 5.5. I don't know. I got one says 5, one says 4, and I got a 5. Can I get a 6? Don't tease me. All right, it's 5. Good trick question. Any questions, folks? I'm in a good mood today. I got sun for today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then all hell breaks loose. Well, so they say. You guys are holding me to the 40-minute deal, huh? It's 41 minutes now. We'll be sending out the slides as soon as I convert them here, and I'll put contact info on this slide for you. And you'll be able to get the link, and it'll tell you where the slides are. You can have them. They're very brief, very abbreviated. Tried something new. I used to have 20 and 30 slides, and I could hear people snoring on the other end. So we decided to try something a little different. I appreciate everybody being here. Please enter your feedback. I think go to webinar now. Ask you what you thought of the service or whatever it was. We stopped doing polls and surveys and all. Wait a minute, got a new question. Clearly we sell our pricing software. No, we do not. We are prohibited by the license because it violates their agreement with GSA. We provide a service that if you contact me after, I'll be more than happy to go over that with you. Anybody interested in sponsorship opportunities, inexpensive. And the nice part is the sponsor of this one will be on YouTube for life. And we're going to do some other cool stuff there to try to help you folks out, because, you know, pay-per-click ads and all the other stuff, it's just, it doesn't work. We've tried it. We've done it. It doesn't work. All right, I got a couple more here. You guys aren't going to let me go, which is perfect. Thank you. I see a solicitation of which there is an established vendor, and that vendor part number is used in the solicitation. Would they get preferential treatment, or can we still beat them by offering a lower price? Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. Excellent question, and I've always missed this one, and we've done this. We all know, we've all gone to the auto store and gotten an air filter, an oil filter, and there's a book hanging there that's a cross-reference. Okay? Now, All Power Solutions, we have thousands and thousands, and used to be hundreds of thousands of part numbers. The government's used to buying a Fram oil filter, you know, pay me now, pay me later, that kind of thing. But all of a sudden, you've got a Philco manufactured out of New Jersey that is exactly the same thing, but it's a cross-reference. The question becomes, if you have a product that is exactly the same or even better, but it's not that well-known name, if you can show a cross-reference comparison as part of your bid submission, and it's cheaper, you can knock the incumbent out. Now, if this is a long-term, multi-year contract, the incumbent is there, then when is their contract up? Because you're not going to get them out until the recompete comes out. And by the way, All Power, for example, just got at Fort Bragg 3 BPAs, one for $6 million, not bad for 5 years, one for $3 million, and one for $3 million. So there's, my math tells me that's $12 million over 5 years. Not bad for selling building supplies. Not bad at all. Chris, if you need further clarification on that, get a hold of me after, and we'll talk about it a little bit. I've got some time today. All right, I'm going to send out a blast to everybody right now. Send all. And the few people that left, they lose. They have to wait. I just sent it to everybody. Send me an email. I have your contact info, but I'll see it again when you send me anyway. Send me your question again, because there's a whole string of them here. And if I can help you, I will. The only requirement I ask is that if I help you, send me 2 referrals, somebody that'll pay us. I'd like to do another 31 years in business. And by the way, August 12th, 1986, I was sitting at the conference table with Michael Dell in Austin, Texas. That was my first client. You can see that on the website, the last half of the email address. You can see that on the website under references. You can scroll through and read some of the stuff people have said. And we're redoing all that, make it a lot easier. But YouTube will get you some videos to watch. There's a couple of TV interviews in there. I can't remember how many videos are up there. But when this one's done, it'll take a couple hours. It'll be up. And make sure you get a link to it. Any other questions? Thank you for the kind words, Angela. Wait a minute. Did I say your name right? I can't see the right side of the screen. No, it's Angelica, probably. Angelina. Close enough for government work. All right. Any other questions? You can email them to me. Let's get off here, let you get back to work. Those of you in Alaska, thank you for joining. And, hey, for you, it's almost lunchtime. So thank you, folks, and have a great afternoon.